What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. I'm kicking it off with another Comic Collector Origins episode, and I'm on episode 56. My goodness, we are flying by this. I feel like I know I bring this up, but like the summer just flew by, which is nuts. On top of that, I mean, we hit the 50 mark for this show. Obviously, now going into 56 here today. We crossed 900 not too long ago for subscribers, which has just been super exciting and appreciative of all the people who have been supporting this channel. It's just been awesome. The year's been great. I hope everybody's been doing well themselves as well. Enjoying this, beautiful fall day, at least where I'm at. It's really nice here in Jersey. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I see we got some people in the chat right now. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you are taking some time to watch the replay, thanks for doing so. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on that journey to 1K. So, keep an eye out for that as we cross that subscriber mark. Definitely going to be having a YouTube party of some sort. And many of you will be invited. Everybody's invited to come hang out, obviously. So it'll be a good time. If you guys are not familiar with Comic Collector Origins, the show itself is all about the community. It's where I bring on guests from the community and ask them questions about themselves. We want to know, we talk about origin stories of superheroes. We talk about first appearances of these heroes and these villains that show up in comic books. But I want to know, what was your first appearance when it comes to, showing up at a Comic Con, or how did, what's your origin story? How did it all start getting into this amazing hobby that we are all a part of? So, it's just been a great show. It's been a lot of fun. I've been meeting so many different people here. And so I'm going to kick it off here. Like I said, we're episode 56, and I'm really excited for the guest that I have on here today. I consider him a brother at this point. I mean, we've been talking for a while now. I actually got to meet him over at Terrificon not too long ago, literally, what was it, month and a half ago? Man, time's flying. This guy has just been so genuine, and the way he's embraced his hobby, and the way I've seen him kind of grow into this hobby has been such a treat, because I feel that he is very relatable in the same sense of what I'm into this hobby for, from everything from the different things that he collects to the different things that he reads. And then he breaks it down all on things like Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, and getting all these different reviews. And he's just been very active. His content is really, really fun to watch. If you guys have not already watched his stuff or are not already following him, you should. And I am, of course, talking about my friend Albert from Albert Loves Comics over on Instagram. And let me bring my man Albert in right now. Albert, what is going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? I am super excited to be here. Once you invited me, I told my wife, stop everything. I'm not going outside on Saturday. This is the only thing I'm doing. I prepped, I studied, I'm ready. This is so exciting. Thank you for everybody who's here in the comment section, who's watching. I've been with you, rocking in there. I've been watching a lot of your shows, Justin, for a long time, and you are a lot of the reason why I found this hobby to be so accessible, and we can just talk to anybody, and oh my God, they reply back. Oh my God, people are buying these books that I've always dreamed of, and they're just so I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Dude, man, let me just say, I love your energy, man. What you bring to the table. And I'll tell you, I know we've met, like I mentioned, in Terrificon before. My girlfriend met you. She was really excited when she's like, you got Albert on? That's awesome. She's really looking forward to this issue, or to this episode. I don't know if she's actually able to watch it here right now, but she was saying, if anything, she'll catch the replay. But she loves you, man. And I love you too, bro. It's the energy you bring. I said before, the content that you put out there, you're very genuine. I love that you love comics, that you genuinely are diving into different books. You take recommendations, you give recommendations, and you're really embracing the community, which is what I love to see, because there are just so many really awesome people in this community, and you're one of them. And that's why I have people like you on the show, because I want to highlight those that I feel more people should be following, more people that should be reaching out to, and hopefully touching base with you and just talking comics, because that's what I love to do. I know that's what you love to do. And there's just been a lot of incredible people here. I love too that you said you were preparing for this, because I totally changed up some questions on you. So we will have a lot of fun, especially with the rapid fire stuff. It's going to be a blast, man. So again, if anyone watching right now, or if you're watching the replay, if you guys do not already follow Albert, I put all of his information in the description below. Albert, I know you took a little break from YouTube, but I did put your YouTube link in there as well. So maybe we can get some of those subscriber numbers up your way as well. I know you've been doing TikTok stuff. You put a bunch of stuff out on Instagram, which is where I think we initially met. So again, people, if you guys are not following Albert, make sure you do so. And not only follow him, but reach out, talk some comics with him, because I know that's what he loves to do. So, Albert, before we get into the fun questions, I do want to say a quick hello to the chat. I see we got some people hanging out right now. So let's kick it off with my man, Travis, TM Nerdy Station. Travis was actually just on another show with him this morning. It was a pre-recorded. So I had a whole hour or so hanging out with Travis earlier today, and really had a blast.
Travis is on every show.
He's everywhere. The man's everywhere. And I say that while we talk. I'm like, dude, you're everywhere. The support that he gives to everyone is just amazing. So shout out to the Bad Batch crew. Shout out to TM Nerdy. Thank you guys so much. And TM, thanks for hanging out, bro. We got my man Mercy Collectibles from Sweden hanging out with us here today as well. Mercy, always in the chat. Appreciate your support, my friend. We also got my man Paul Morris hanging out with, another crew member that we got to hang out with over in Terrificon. Always a pleasure to see you, Paul. Thanks for stopping in. We got my man Eric, aka Azor's Tiger, who's been doing a lot of crazy things over on YouTube now as well. Good to see you, Eric. Yes, cheers to you, bro. Thanks for stopping in as well. We got my man Comic Book Cuber in the house saying happy Saturday, everyone. Yes, it is a happy Saturday. And here on the East Coast, at least near where we are, New York, New Jersey, it's pretty nice out. So it is a very happy Saturday. We got my man Fable in the house. Station Fable, another PCP Army Bad Batch crew member. What's going on, Fable? Good to see you, bro. Let's see. We got my man Something Wong hanging out with us as well, saying, hey now. Good to see you, Wong. Let's see, scrolling through, we got my man Hip Hops and me, aka Steve, the man from Team Nerd Herd podcast. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for stopping in as well. I saw he was just having a nice little vacation, hitting up Vegas, which I'll be there next week.
Nice.
Steve hanging out. I know Steve, you didn't win any money, but that's okay because it looked like you had a great time and you got to meet some really cool people along the way. So good stuff there. Let's see, scrolling. Oh, the chat just jumped on me just a little bit. Let me scroll back up here. We got my man JT also in the house. What's going on, JT? Good to see you, bro. I like that you changed the name there. Backlog Bros for sure. Love it. We got my man Jan 7 Comics in the house. What's going on, Jan? Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Good stuff there. And there he is, John's Comics with Kids. Always good to see John. I know, John, you went on a little earlier today. I'll have to catch the replay of your regular Saturday morning live stream, but it's always a good time. You and your daughter's breaking down some books that you had recently read. Always a fun time there. We got my man JD, Raging Cajun Comics, was just on his channel not too long ago. Always a pleasure, Raging. Good to see you in the house here. And let's see, Chef RD Harris hanging out with us as well. What's going on, Chef? Good to see you, my friend. I think we got everybody at the moment. Bleecker Street, almost missed you. What's going on, Bleecker? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in as well. Again, if you're here right now, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and make sure you are subbed up to Albert. I put his information in the description below. Be sure to hit him up as well. And this show's all about Albert, so I want to dive right into it. Albert, let's kick it off with, where did this hobby start for you? How old were you? And like, when did you get into this hobby? What did your environment look like for yourself?
I wasn't ready for this question. Let me think. I'm joking. I watched the show.
I didn't know you were going to ask me that question.
Comic collector origins. I don't know if this is a common thing with a lot of people who got into comics, but like growing up, my father was always reading newspapers. So I wanted to be like my father. He would read everywhere. He'd read on the toilet, and I'm like, I'm reading with you. Like I'm reading everywhere with him. And obviously, like as a child, I was like maybe 6 or 7, like just starting with real reading for entertainment. And I looked at the newspapers, and there was cartoons in there. There was comic strips, and they always made me laugh, and they still make me laugh. I am still super unbelievably impressed with the ability for we're talking about comics. I was super impressed with the ability for comic strips in like 4 panels to drop a like gem of a joke. So Garfield was a big one that I loved, and then they had a TV show, so I started watching a lot of Garfield. But comic books, like trade paperbacks and things like that, I didn't get into until I was maybe 10 or 11. I saw Calvin and Hobbes in a bookstore, like a Barnes and Noble, and I picked that up. Got really into it. Same kind of, all the content from those books of Calvin and Hobbes was from comic strips. So it was like exactly what I wanted. I'm in love with that art style. Like I think about like Scotty Young has like the same exact art style. So I'm like drawn to his work. And it was like a kid who's thinking about things that are what adults think about. So as a child, I was like, oh, like this is a tap into like the adult world. So I've always kind of looked at like comic books as like, oh, this is adult stuff. So that's why I always find it funny that people think it's not, that they just like for kids. Right. And then I had a local comic book shop actually really close to me. It was like less than a mile away. And I found out now that that's not common. You usually got to drive like half an hour to get to a shop because they're not really around anymore. But walked into the shop when I was like 11 or 12 looking for Pokemon cards.
Nice.
And
nice.
yeah, I guess, I don't know if that's like a common thing, but Pokemon cards were being sold in comic shops. So,
Totally.
And like magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like I was super into that too. And I'd go in there and I saw the racks and I was like, whoa, that's a lot of cool books. So my first books were like the free stuff, the cheap stuff. So I remember there was like a Batman that was like 10 cents. And it was like, I still see it every now and then in the wild. But my first like real following every week was, and I was like 11 or 12, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men. Those are my two. I thought those were like the standard, like everybody's reading this. I didn't know it was like an alternate universe. So I would always be like talking about Spider-Man and saying things like, oh, that's not what happened to Peter. You're mistaken. He actually, like I was correcting people and stuff.
Right.
So, and I really thought that until recently. I was like, Ultimate Spider-Man is the truth. And then like you hear that the MCU is about like the Ultimate Universe, or it's like inspired by, and I'm like, yeah, of course, that was the standard.
Right.
So yeah, my story is not super like exciting. But
this is great.
It was newspapers. There was a local shop. And I kind of stumbled in it. I'll be honest, I've been alone in this like comic love for a very long time. I don't know. I personally, very few people in my community, my friends group, my family have any interest in it. So like a lot of people like anime, which is, like similar, but yeah, that's my origin story, I guess.
No, I love it, man. And it's like, well, one, I mean, you're not alone with the fact that like I haven't had a lot of friends, like personal friends or people that I know that are into it either until I got onto Instagram and started making friends. Like that's what made it so great. It was just like, I thought I was alone, and then like I just started sharing books, and then people that I recognize, people would start liking my stuff and commenting, and I would start to recognize the same people. I'd start having these conversations. So it's cool that I'm glad that you were able to like jump into where you are now. And it's cool to hear that it started at a younger age. It's like for you, I mean, for anybody, it all depends when you jump into it. And it's like wherever you do, some of the stories that you read at that time, that is the staple. That is the story, whatever it is, like, because that's just your era, it's just your era. So it makes sense. It's cool that you're going back now. You're exploring some older stuff. I know you read a lot of new books as well. But yeah, you're definitely not alone there. And so, I was trying to think. So when did you first, well, let me back up here. So your dad was reading newspapers, all this stuff's got you kind of into it more. Did you watch any of the cartoons or even the movies that were comic based at that time, like in the 90s or anything like that? Or were you not really into that stuff?
I definitely watched the shows. I don't remember ever like following it. It was like, if it was on, like, oh, I'm definitely watching like the animated Spider-Man show, the animated X-Men show. I love that show. That art style, like the Jim Lee inspired, that kind, like that's what I always thought was like, that's the greatest thing in the world. Like I still think Jim Lee is like unbelievable. That guy's incredible. But yeah, I mean, that's so Batman Beyond, I actually watched a lot of. And so like, the issue, his first appearance in comics, like it crushes me that it's like skyrocketed in price because I'm like, I want that one so bad.
Totally.
I've never read any of the stories. I just love the show so much. So I'm like, maybe the books are not even good. I got to read the books. So we'll see.
Give it a shot. Yeah, you have to give it a shot. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, obviously a lot of first appearances, things like that, they're jumping up now in price, no matter what character you're into. But that was a big, I loved it. I remember watching the TV show and I really enjoyed that one as well. So you mentioned too that there was a comic shop like right down the street from you. Like, do you remember your first time going into a comic shop and like really like buying like something off the shelf? Do you remember what that book was or just the experience in general?
So the comic book shop had an incredible costume section. They had like these masks or helmets that were just like terrifying. So I remember the first time I walked in, I saw like an Alien and Predator like full gear. And I remember thinking to myself, when I'm older, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna have the most incredible costume at Halloween. I've never done it, but it's been that's the thing that called me the most. Obviously, like every young person is drawn to toys like right off the bat. I still am. I still appreciate it. I got into the statue game a little bit, just because I find that like to be super exciting. But yeah, I don't remember the comics so much as like the first time, just because I wasn't focused on it. I was focused on the cards. I was focused on the statue or the toys and the costumes. I love the whole vibe of a comic book store. I think that's like it's such an inviting space for young people, especially, but older people too, obviously. Yeah,
totally, absolutely. And I see you hit up a plenty of shops, especially on your Wednesday, trips out to the city. It's always nice to see kind of the breakdown that you show of like the shops that you're going into, the different hot books that are coming out, and things like that. So I like that kind of content. I want to say a quick hello here to Nigel, Desired Comics in the house. What's going on, Desired Comics? Hanging out with us here today. Let me scroll back the chat for just a second because I saw a couple of other people as well. Oh man, this just jumped on me here. Man, oh man. Appreciate everybody hanging out here. Brandon, Looney Tunes. What's going on, Brandon? Good to see you, man. We also had Alonzo, Comics and Pops in the house, also representing Team Nerd Herd. Good to see you, Alonzo. Thanks for stopping in. John was mentioning that he loves Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimate Spider-Man run. Never read the Ultimate X-Men run. Is it any good?
So for me, Ultimate X-Men was like the first, right? It was my standard for X-Men, and I'm a massive X-Men fan. I got the books right here. These are the like Claremont ones, right? And so I watched your show with John. I was like, yes, there's more fans. Like, it's not just me.
We gotta have you on that show, by the way.
I would love to. I'd love to jump on. So I'm on volume 3, just because like sometimes I read them too late and I'm like, I get droopy eyed. I'm like, I need to give more respect to this book. So like I try to get more awake. And I'm just reading so much. But John, Ultimate X-Men, in my opinion, I loved it. I read it when I was 12. So not, completely different time period of my life. And yeah, but like I think so I'm obviously into hardcovers and collected editions. They are going to be making a new Ultimate Spider-Man, I think this year, which is like, I'm super excited about. I might buy 2 of them just because I'm irrational. I bought 2 Ultimate. I bought 2. Yeah, I buy a lot of 2 volumes, and I'm like, what am I doing?
So nice, you buy it twice.
Yeah, but Ultimate X-Men, they're not doing that, and it might be because it's not as highly praised. So
interesting. Okay. I mean, I might give that a shot digitally then, at least just to check it out. And I've never read Ultimate Spider-Man. So if you really liked it, John said he's loving it, then I'll have to give it a shot. Yeah. Bleecker Street says, definitely not alone there. Literally none of my personal friends before I went on Instagram are into comics at all. Yeah, you are definitely not alone there for sure. There's and that's what's great about Instagram and YouTube. It's just to be able to make new friends. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I've made so many amazing friends, especially those who have been guests here on my channel, or I've been a guest on theirs. Like, it's just been so much fun to hang out with people. And I agree with Raging here. Make sure you smash that like button. Appreciate that, my friend. Let's see. We got my girl Sheena in the house. What's going on, Sheena? Good to see you. Station. Alonzo says, working on some things, but want to say a quick hello. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you, Alonzo, man. Thanks for swinging by. Always a pleasure. Let's see. Just scrolling through. If there was anything else here. We got Haramong. How do you say that there? Are you friends with him?
Haram Rajat. Haram, what's going on, man? Good to see you.
Very cool. Nice for stopping in. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, he's talking about the Ultimate Avengers.
Just so everybody knows, the incest. You can probably guess in the chat who you think it is, because there's not that many siblings in Marvel, but it is wild and highly inappropriate.
I love it. Let's see. Yeah, Fable. So many X-Men fans love it. Yeah, no, we're out there, man. We are certainly out there. Jan says Miles Morales was the ultimate. Was from Ultimate Universe. There you go. Very cool. So I wanted to ask you, like, what made you want to make an Instagram account, or I should say all social media, because I know you're on a lot of different platforms right now. But what made you want to kind of, do what you do? Like, you start posting books, start doing videos, all that stuff. What was the inspiration there?
Okay, so when COVID, this is what happens in every episode of yours. Everybody talks about how COVID impacted their hobby, right? So, sure. So I was reading a lot more comics. Comics brings me a lot of joy. So once I started making more money, got more stable, I started trying to focus more on like what makes me happy. And I picked up more books, and on YouTube, I followed some channels like Tom 101, but Gem Mint was probably the one that I was like, oh snap, like there's hardcore collectors out there. There's people who really read. So
hell yeah.
I got into buying more of these hardcovers, and I would talk to my wife, and I was like, babe, like this is a crazy story. Do you know what happens here to Wolverine? And like, she wasn't interested. And I just I just finished reading Middle West. If nobody's read Middle West, wow,
good stuff.
Wow. Scotty Young. I had no idea.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of that. Yeah, okay. It's been really enjoyed it so far. Yeah,
I just finished it. It's so quick. You're gonna fly by at a certain point. But,
it's at the hardcover.
Yeah. I'll bring it down. Nice. So it's like a flat spine. I love it. It's beautiful.
Very beautiful. Nice. I want to get that. That's on my list.
Here's for anybody who hasn't read it. Jorge Corona is the writer. This is the third page. Just look at that.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video for this on my TikToks like tonight. So
there you go.
Anyways, the reason why self-promo, no. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because like that book, super traumatic thing. All I can think about was it for like a day. And again, my friends don't really read these books. My wife is not super interested. Like we're focused on other things, and our conversations are usually oriented on other things. And I was like, I need to talk to somebody about this. So I went on Instagram and I found this whole new world. So that's the real thing. I mean, I just felt this urge to have to talk to people about these stories. I found these huge YouTube communities. You were in there. And just people talking about books. One of my favorite ones is Comic Tropes. He's really good at like doing deep dives on artists and writers. And I didn't even know that anybody cared about these writers and these artists, and that like they're accessible. Yeah. We were at Terrificon. Who was there? Jim Starlin was at a table by himself. Yeah, I was like, this is real life,
right? Yeah. I remember we were talking about that. Like, this is really weird.
Yeah. So anyways, I got in really just to talk to people about this. I tried YouTube. Like I said, Justin, I'm very impressed. YouTube is extremely difficult. At least for me, it was. I was like, because the kind of stuff that like gets me the most excited is the kind of stuff that I made. And like, it was so much editing and so much time and so many skills to learn.
Yeah. Totally.
And it kind of overwhelmed me. Yeah.
Sure. No, I can see that.
But TikTok is a little easier, and TikTok I found a lot of growth there really quickly. So nice. That's why I'm like leaning more on TikTok now. Instagram, I find that the community aspect is stronger. I get to talk to people. Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely. I want to say a quick hello to my man Andy hanging out with us. Just had him on the channel not too long ago as well. Comic Man Andy, he says, is this a safe place? A safe space? Yes, it is, sir. John saying Middle West was very powerful. good to know there. Yeah, have to continue on with that because I'm loving it. The other series that they put out, the Me You Love in the Dark, that series right now is really good as well. Same creators. We got Michelle in the house. What's going on? Moonlit Comics. She was another one hanging out with us at Terrificon there for a bit. So appreciate you. She said she loves the talented reel makers. There you go. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, they are fun. Hey, we got my man Sove Collector, my man Michael, who was also at Terrificon hanging out with us here. Good to see you, Sove. He says he loves comic tropes. Yeah, that's a good channel.
Yeah.
Just got to his shop. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, hey, we got Cole in the house. Also, what's going on? Burrito, Comic Book Burrito, hanging out with us too, just swinging by. He was my number 50, episode 50 show here as well. So thanks for stopping in, Cole. We got my man Ruben Guzman in the house, who's I believe changed his name to White Tiger Comics Cartridges and Collectibles. So good to see you, Cowabunga, as always. And we got my man Mark also, who was my my guest last week from We Are Legion of Comics. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks for stopping in as well. Well, guys, make sure again, if you're not following Albert, to do so. I put all his information in the description below, and yeah, definitely hit him up. So Albert, this is probably a big question, but if you had to only name like 5 series right now, what are some things that you're reading currently? I know there's a lot, so just give us like, you know.
I am reading a lot, and it's a hard question, just because I'm trying to like go through. I'll try and do it by like the publishers. So Image right now, I'll be honest, people might have feelings about this, is my favorite. Image has such creative stories, and the art is always like just unique or very good. Like I'm reading Time Before Time or Time After Time. Or
like Time Before Time.
Yeah, and like the art is weird. It's not like phenomenal, but it's like it's weird. So I like that story. I like the Me You Love in the Dark. What other ones I like? I mean, this is everyone loves Something Is Killing the Children. Obviously, I love it too. Department of Truth is really great. James Tynion is just like superb. I'm a big Donny Cates fan. I haven't got to Substack yet, but like I'm about to. You gotta tell me.
Nice.
I gotta know. You gotta tell me if it's worth it.
I'm all in on a few different artists already.
Yeah,
or writers.
With DC, I'm a big Static Shock fan. I'm probably the biggest Static Shock fan in the community. No, not the whole community,
but you have to talk with Caroline then. Caroline's Comics. She's I just had her on as a guest. She brought up Static, and I said I don't really know Static, and she almost killed me when I said that. So she's a big fan. She's like, you got to read this. You got to check that out. So so you guys, you should reach out to her as well.
Okay,
I'm going to explore some Static. I haven't yet, but I will be exploring.
So here's why it's so exciting. They don't put them together in like collected editions, and there's 45 issues or 50 issues, something like that. So you just got to buy the comics to read the story. So it's like it's kind of limited, like it's an exclusive club, and that's why. So that's why I love it. No, the Milestone Media. I'm going to change topics very quickly, just because like, this is why I think it's so exciting, and I think a lot of people might not realize why it's so exciting. So Static was created from Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowman, like a bunch of other Black artists and creators and writers. So they were finding that there was underrepresentation in the medium. So people point to like Jon Stewart or Luke Cage as like the Black people in Black characters in comics. However, like a lot of times we know that their representation is very stereotypical. And they're also created by people who are not Black or not Latino or not in that demographic, right? Sure. So what they were also like, let's say Jon Stewart. If Jon Stewart is a Green Lantern, he's not considered just a Green Lantern. He's the Black Green Lantern. He can't just be Jon Stewart. So what they decided to do is create their own universe called the Milestone. Is that called? Is Milestone Universe, and all their characters were from different backgrounds, not just like white. So mostly Black characters. So if you look at a character like Static, you're not even looking that he's Black. But even though he's in that community, so he's dealing with a lot of the issues. So it allowed for a lot of really interesting storytelling because you just saw different characters in different spaces. The stories are a lot raunchier, or raunchier is maybe not the wrong word, just like a lot more uncensored than a lot of Marvel and DC books. Even though DC published the books, it wasn't a DC property. and it still isn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So that's why like Static is really great. Icon is really great. Hardware is really great. They have their own entire creator team, and the stories are actually really good. Like I read a lot of different books. They carry some weight. Yeah. So, but yeah, DC books I love. I love Static. I love Batman. I love Nightwing. Nice House on the Lake, I think, is incredible.
Amazing.
From Marvel, I'm reading the Miles Morales series. I'm reading X-Men. X-Men I'm struggling with. I'll be honest. It's hard for me. It's so much information. And what else am I reading? I don't even remember. I read a lot. I pick up a lot of books.
No, that's why I like the. I mean, that's why I had to ask, because I know there's so many, and obviously so many more. But I was curious what would come to mind to ask somebody like yourself. I want to say quick hello to Kyle here too. Oh, that's a good one.
This is crazy.
Just pick this up. I mean, anything Jeff Lemire does is like, I mean, I'm all on board for. Kyle in the house. Kyle giving us an update to USA kicking butt the Ryder Cup right now. Very nice, nicely done. I was just watching some golf before. Let's see. Eric says, I still have my original Milestone comics from childhood. That's cool. Very cool. Let's see. Mark here, Legion says the Milestone characters are awesome. Their new stories very underwhelming. He feels.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. But either way, like I had no idea like that. I mean, I've heard of Milestone. I saw when the new stuff came out, all this stuff. And obviously had a little discussion with Caroline when she was on the show, and she brought up a little bit about Static and stuff like that. So definitely an area that I need to explore more of for sure. So I wanted to ask you, with your collection right now, because I know you buy single issues, right? But you also buy hardcovers and other collection type of stuff, and you're buying collections. I know you just put a video out about like, how to buy collections and stuff like that, or what you're doing to buy collections. Where do you see your collection years from now? Like your goal, like what's your goal? And I know this can change from time to time, but like as you continue to build up your collection, whether it's the single copies or hardcovers or all of the above, you're just planning to keep all this for the rest of your life? Do you plan to sell some things along the way? Do you plan on passing them down to other family members at some point? Where do you see that?
Okay, so there's a few different answers to what you're asking, but in terms of like, what do I keep and how long do I plan to keep things for? I follow like the Mary Kondo strategy. She has a show on Netflix, which is phenomenal. Basically, keep things as long as you love them. Once you no longer love it, you're no longer excited to own it and have it, then you let it go. So I am frequently letting go of books. Constantly. Sometimes I buy a book. I'm super excited to have it. I don't even open it. I just leave it on the shelf. It brings me joy looking at it. And then I stop. And then I'm like, okay, and go back to someone else's home. And I practice that so that I think it keeps the community healthy, so that like more books are flowing to people's hands. That's kind of how at least I tell myself. But also I live in an apartment, and like, this is it. This right here.
Only so much space. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my goals in life, it's always been, I want to own my own comic book store. I want to have my own shop where there's toys, where there's costumes, where there's coffee, where there's people, where there's a place for community. I have a 2-year-old, and there's not really things to do. Like, there's not places to go to. I just take her to wherever I'm going, and then she just entertains herself. But like for 5-year-olds, for 10-year-olds, there's not really like a community or a place. So I think that's how you get like new people, new customers, new markets involved. One of the things that excites.
Oh, you're cutting out for a sec. Either you're cutting out or I'm cutting out.
Did I lose Wi-Fi? Oh.
I think we're losing you here for a sec.
Might be me. Is it
now
me?
We see you. Yeah, we got you back. Yep. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that excites me about this hobby is figuring out, how do you get new readers in? How do you get new people to like dive into some of these incredible stories? And I think you got to start with young people, but also like, what's going to get someone to come into a comic store? They're going to maybe look for a gift. Maybe they want to get like a quick drink, maybe a really good coffee, or maybe they want to like, dive into like the MCU a little bit, or DCU, right? And like get a really good trade paperback, because I think more people are likely to pick up a full story than they are a one comic issue. So those are my two. Yeah, that's my goal long term. In terms of like short term, I just want to be as well versed in everything. I want to read the stuff from the 60s and 70s. I got some golden age stories of Submariner that I'm reading.
Nice.
I want to know more about Moon Knight. Like I don't know anything about that character. I'm reading some of his Marvel stuff, and it's good. So yeah, I want to really, the main thing is I want to increase the value of my collection as much as possible, so that eventually I could potentially open up a shop and invest in it with the value from my collection.
Very cool, man. Those are some big goals. Like I love the idea of that. And also what you were saying before, like just the idea of getting new people involved. Like your content makes so much sense. The way you break down, you do reviews essentially, and they're nice little, they're short, like, and sweet, reviews. Like you're not giving away too much, but you're also giving just enough to pique someone's interest, and hopefully having them go out and buy the book or explore the book, download whatever whatever it is. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm all for trying to encourage new people, young and old, both, to just get into a comic book shop, support local comics, to support the creators that are out nowadays, the writers, the artists, and just to see the industry continue to grow. It's just been, we see that again and again. So I love that, you're doing that. I want to say a quick hello here. I saw a couple other people jump in. I saw my man Rod, aka Just a Rican, and his comics. Good to see you, Rod. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Mercy said he's revealing too much of his idea. Someone is hacking him and cutting his feed. Yeah. We losing you there for a second, but you're back in the clear now. Let's see. Oh, my dad's in the chat. What's going on, Dad? Good to see you. I know he's always hanging out. Coffee and a Comic also here. Coffee and a Comic does some really great reviews and breakdown of some new books as well. So good stuff there. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. Let's see, just scrolling through, and I think, hey, we got Manny in the house. Station Tomorrow Cinema, had him on here not too long ago as well. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. My dad said, I'm finally getting to hit the road and do some cons. Hope to hook up with you guys soon. Yeah, that's hopefully. I'm looking forward to Baltimore Comic Con. Definitely going to be there. Are you going to that, by the way? Baltimore Comic Con? I know we talked a little bit about it.
I really, really, really want to go. I'm moving to Jersey.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be a neighbor, man. You're going to practically be a neighbor.
Right. Dude, I'm scared. Jersey's in New York. We trashed on Jersey a little bit, and
totally.
And I'm about to be there. I'm about to live there and raise a child. But I'm moving in October, like October 9th, that weekend. And,
wow.
I'm worried that I think Baltimore Con is like the next week or the week after that.
Like 2 weeks after. So yeah, it's tight.
I'm gonna see if tickets are still available, like a little bit before. I might pop in for a quick day trip. I really enjoyed Terrificon. It was my only con I ever been to, and it was so amazing. Incredible to meet people. Like I loved meeting you, Morbius. I met Paul. I met like so many incredible people, and I was like, I always kind of thought that you guys were fake. You're not fake, like you're not.
Right.
You're just like on the web. So like getting to shake your hand, chat. You gave me a lot of advice on social media and like how to really embrace it. So I would love to go, but I can't 100% commit yet.
Totally understandable, man. If you let me know if things work out, great. If not, that's what's great about cons is there's gonna be another one next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. So if you can't make this year, you always have next year, man. And we always have Terrificon again, so we'll definitely be back for that. And another cool thing, a side note, because I know you're gonna be moving right near my LCS, Zap Comics. They have a con that they normally do every year. Now, obviously, this past year and a half, they've had to cancel that because of COVID, but they already have it scheduled for next year. And normally, I've been there a couple times. Their Comic-Con is legit. It's really cool, and it's like it has like local vibes to it because like it's not they do invite artists and writers from all across the country. but at the same time, they have like a bunch of students that are right at the Kubert School, which is also here in Jersey, and they give them tables, like they help them out and get their names out there. These are students that are just like learning how to draw, and they support them. It's really cool, and I've gotten a lot of cool artwork from these students, and it's just a lot of fun. And obviously, there's tons of bins, a lot of people from the community that come, that travel all the way up from Connecticut, that come down, people from New York that come over. So you're in a good place, yeah, for sure. And yeah, dude, I did want to ask you quickly, just like to hear your experience. That the fact that was your first Comic-Con excites me, because there are just so, like, that's a great show, and I just know there's so many other great shows that I've been to. There's ones I haven't been to, but I'm excited for you because there's so much more fun experiences in your future with Comic Cons, and obviously meeting more people from the communities and things like that. So it's cool to hear that was your first one.
It was amazing to Donnie Cates is one of my favorite writers. He like blew the door open for me, because like,
you got to meet him
after COVID. I got to meet him, and I got to ask him a question at a big panel discussion, and I was blown away that they were like right in front of me. And it was such a cool thing to see. And like, even on TikTok, like I'm talking to some creators, and like they're literally like going back and forth with me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should buy my book." I'm like, "Absolutely, I'm gonna buy your book," And I'm like, "Of course, I'll make a video, I'll record this. Just keep talking. This is amazing." So that's what I mean. Like, this is such a cool community because it's so close. Like even the creators, you can actually talk to them. I mean, Jim Lee sold millions of books, right? And it doesn't feel like it's impossible to one day shake his hand and to say thank you. And like, one of the things that I wish I would have gotten into the hobby earlier, because I didn't get a chance to meet Stan Lee. I didn't get a chance to meet Jack Kirby, or like, a lot of these icons. And they mean a lot to me, obviously. So this is an incredible community. And one thing about the conventions, in case someone in the chat hasn't been to one, which I'm sure everybody here has, but I'm just going to say it. Maybe someone's watching the replay. I go to a lot of shops, and I'll travel long distances just to like go in their bins and like look at back issues, right? Maybe find some gold. And at conventions, there's literally like 40 shops in the place, so you can go shop around to all of them and compare prices, and that blew me. I did not expect that at all. That was amazing.
Yeah. Let me just share too. So like, I remember, so first of all, you came up just for the day on day one, or technically day two, Saturday. And I'm like, you coming up? You're like, yeah, I'll be there. And you literally drove up. I know you hit traffic, which is something I know you'll live and learn by, like when to go, like, maybe go earlier or whatever. But you made it, middle of the day, and you just started exploring. I saw you talking with people. Obviously we were talking for a while, and just to see, you look like a little kid at a candy shop. Like, whoa, like blown away by everything in sight. And then like day two, you come right back. You didn't even have a room that night, and you come back day two, or day three, technically Sunday. And it was great to see you then again. And like, I remember saying goodbye to you like several times. Like, we're like, all right, man, good to see you later. And then like literally we'd run into each other on like the next aisle. I'm like, oh, hey, you're back. You're like, yeah, I'm not leaving yet. Then like, you're like, I had to stay. I saw this other thing here. And like, that's what it is. It's like, there's just so much to see. And especially if you're someone who just hasn't gone to many yet, you think you're walking out, but you're not. Like, you're gonna go down that next aisle, and there's gonna be some amazing things that keep you hooked. Or like you said, you're comparing prices, so maybe you don't want to buy something yet, so you're like, I'm gonna be back. I'll be back for that book, and then you go check out some other prices, but you can't find a better price, so you go back, and so it's just cool to see. It was cool to see like your whole experience. You were going through like original artwork and things like that, which can be a very dangerous rabbit hole to go down. The money is expensive for some of them, but
and that's the cool thing about the hobby. Like, you could be on a budget of like $50 and have the time of your life, right? Like, you could find great deals, and there's dollar bins, and then you can go in there and be like Nicolas Cage and spend. Which I don't know if you saw this meme online. Deluxe Edition made a meme. He said that Nicolas Cage bought those Jim Lee X-Men #1 original artwork, and it was a lie, but everybody believed him, and I thought that was hilarious.
I didn't see that.
It's a very specific like Instagram joke. If anybody's I found this Submariner.
Oh, nice.
And it was $120, I was blown away. And I got that at convention. Everybody told me conventions are overpriced. And I'm like, no, I basically stole this. I stole this.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Very cool, man. And a beautiful book, man. That's an iconic cover for sure. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's great to hear your experience. I really, really enjoy that. And looking forward to, meeting up with you at other ones as well. I see we got my man Jason in the house. What's going on, Jason? He says he's driving and listening. Appreciate you, man. Safe travel. Thanks for swinging by here. We got my man Dave, aka Kachung, hanging out with us as well. Thanks for stopping in, Dave. Let's see, just scrolling through. Oh, the chat jumped on me. Just saw, let's see. Oh, Desired Comics here says, Nigel says it's refreshing to have a personality like Albert in the community. Keep doing your thing, brother. Absolutely. 100% agree with you there. Yep. Well said. Absolutely. Yeah, read those books 100%. Let's see, scrolling through, scroll. I saw Kyle. I've never been to a Comic Con. Sounds exciting. Can't wait to attend one. Yeah, Kyle, man, you got to get out there, man. As soon as there's one near you or whatever opportunity you get, I say definitely. And the community's there, so that's what makes it even more fun. Let's see. Just reading some of these other ones. Excited. I think some people are just chatting it up. But so anyways, like I said, we got 19 people still here. Make sure to sub up Albert if you're not already. Have everything in the description below. Albert, as one thing I would want to ask you before we get into some of the rapid fire questions, I do want to ask if you have a piece of advice for someone who may be new, just getting into the hobby, or maybe they're just on the fence. They don't even know yet or not if they even want to get into this hobby, but they're maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, obviously, with all the different books that are out right now, all the different artists and all the different writers and characters and so on and so forth. If there's one thing that comes to mind for you when you're talking to someone brand new to the hobby, what's a piece of advice that you would throw their way?
I think reading the stories is something that people should try to keep as the there's so many good stories, and I know that for some people, like, they're in it for the artwork, they're in it for like some other, maybe the value is super exciting, but like there's so many good stories, and if you take the time to let that drive the hobby, I think you're going to find more joy and excitement. Like, single issues, sometimes holding a single issue that's really old can be really exciting and really great, but like I wouldn't buy, like, one thing that I did a lot was I bought issues and I never read the story, never even intended to read it. And that was the book that I got least excited about. Right. I read this like Uncanny X-Men omnibus, and almost every single book in here is worth a ridiculous amount of money. Right.
Well,
but
yeah,
if you bought the book, if you buy the issue without reading it, it doesn't really mean much to you. Right? You should read it so you understand why it's such an exciting thing. So for anybody who's like entering, keep reading, let the reading be the drive over the hobby, rather than some of the like speculation and like the things that a lot of people are excited about. And at the end of the day, like, I'm also giving very specific advice. I think, like, don't listen to anybody, just have fun, enjoy it. We're all doing this for fun. Some people are more experienced than others. Like, I've been reading for a long time, but like, I'm getting involved in the community. There's so many different ways people collect. Some people are all about the money. Some people are all about the Silver Age. Some people are only about the variants and like specific writers. Don't follow anybody's advice. I would try and just keep it authentic to you and what you like. And what I found the most joy in is reading the stories first and then being like, oh, is this something I want to buy? Is this something I want to keep in my collection, in my hobby? And the last thing I would say, because I know some people here, like I met Sove, this guy's incredible. He's got an insane ghost. Yeah, there he is.
Ghost Rider,
Ghost Rider collection, which is mind blowing. But I know that's not ever going to work for me, right? Sure, so just being able to like appreciate others people's like collections, that's a whole other level of enjoying the hobby. Just like getting to meet people. Like Justin, I told you the first time one of the first times I got into a live sale with you, literally I was like, I don't know what live sales are. I don't know anything about it. You're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. You told me Royal Comics has this has live sales, and like every Wednesday. It's like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. Cool. I get in there, literally 3 minutes in. I'm like, oh, like, so people like claim it and they put their name and they get a book. How much are these books? Like $3. 3 minutes in, guy puts up the first appearance of Harley Quinn. And I'm like, oh, that's a big book. Nobody's gonna buy that. Justin's like, claim. And I was like, oh snap, are people buying these big books like regularly all the time? And the answer is yes. So I get to appreciate other people buying these big books. You know, I feel like I bought it with you, you know, without paying.
Totally, man. Totally. I love that story, and I love the experience that you were able to have with that. And it's funny, and let me give clarity to anyone who doesn't like. First of all, Royal Collectibles is a great store. They're in Astoria. They technically have 2 shops right here in New York. Really great people, and they normally do Wednesday live streams, and they just do their new books. So they have a bunch of extra new books, and they're all like, $4 or whatever it is. That day that you jumped in, they happen to be celebrating their 1-year anniversary of selling books on Instagram. That's what that was. So because of that, they're like, okay, we're going to do a little extra special here by selling you these big books, these like key appearances and different, they had some graded issues there, CGC and all this other stuff. So yeah, that was a very unique scenario for that particular Wednesday. If you go like this Wednesday, like, it's just the new books, but that was so funny. Cause from your side of things, you're just like, wow, they're putting out these massive books right now. Like, this is not a $3 book at all. And I'm just over here like, claim.
It escalated so quickly. It was like, oh, like here's a $3 book that came out this Wednesday. It's like a cover B and a cover C. Like, oh, you don't see these everywhere. And then boom, like all right. So here's the next part to this. Literally the next week, I'm like, I'm on your YouTube page, and I'm like looking through the history, and then like, oh, you just made a new video. That's very cool. Oh, you got a new book. Oh snap! You just went to Zap Comics and you got Giant Size X-Men #1 raw, and it's like a super clean copy. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, isn't this guy like ridiculously expensive? Like, this is not a regular. So you went from Harley Quinn to Giant Size X-Men, and I'm like, oh snap! Like, this guy's real. This guy's the real deal.
Don't play around, man. Don't play around.
I mean, yeah,
I'm like, look, I may be homeless right now, but at least I got some cool books. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's so funny, man. So funny.
There's a guy, Neo Geo. He's on Neo Geo something or Neo Geo Comics on Instagram. He's the same way. He bought like an Amazing Fantasy 15, Fantastic Four 1. I'm like, what the hell? Like, these are real people. Real people buy these books. I had no idea. I had no idea real people bought these books. And like, so I that's another part of the. So your question was about like entering the hobby advice. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta appreciate it through someone else. Like, someone else has it. Maybe one day you'll get to see it in person. And like, but like, it's okay to be happy for someone else.
Totally. No, it's a great point too, because there are different levels of enjoyment on this, and it is. I think it's important to take a moment to be happy for a friend. Some achievement or something that they've collected or whatever it is that they've done in life, it doesn't have to just be about your individual collection per se to enable to, or to be able to enjoy this hobby. So it's a great point, and all the points that you made are really, really great, and it's a great story. And I see some great comments here. First, want to say a quick hello to VP, who's hanging out with us. What's going on, VP? Thanks for hanging with us. Fable says Justin is also my live sale consultant. There you go. JT said he's subbing you up right now, which is awesome. So definitely do that. His information is in the description below. So was saying thank you for the shout out, the talking about his collection there. We're getting some fireworks from Eric. Steve said Justin couldn't handle himself. He's like, claim. Like, yeah, exactly, Steve, exactly. Just could not help myself. Hey, we got Lady No Good in the house, who you had met. I brought up before. She said, still remembering seeing Albert at Terrificon hours after he said he was leaving, asking Justin, is that Albert? Yeah, she's like, I remember she's like, hey, is that your friend Albert? Didn't he say he was leaving? I'm like, oh yeah, that is. Hey, Albert. Telling you, man, it just drags you right back in, man. Pulls you right back in. Let's see. There's some. Let me scroll through here real quick. There's some other really funny things. I see everybody saying hi to everybody. Hey, we got my man Michael hanging out with us. Downright Nerdy Podcast. Good to see you, Michael. Thanks for stopping in. Yes, I hope you're having a great weekend as well. Let's see. Sheena had to get her charger before. All good, Sheena. Glad you're back. Let's see. Keep naming off Justin's claim sales. Yeah, it's not good, man. Not good at all. It's so funny because it's really, it just was like happened to be that like time period where like I was ready to like pull the trigger on some books, and then ever since then I haven't bought anything except for like some some basic books or whatever. But from your perspective, it's like really interesting to kind of look at it from that way.
I'm sure it wasn't an accident. I'm sure it wasn't an impulse. Like that's
yeah. I wanted to, I want to get into the rapid fire questions. I know we're just about at the hour mark, but I did want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about a couple of the books that you have. I know you pulled a couple of books aside. Anything that special that means something to you that you want to share with us here today?
Yes, I'm very excited about this. So there's a few things. When I started getting into comics, I went to the library and I saw all my favorite comic book heroes in one book. And it was Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I bought this Absolute edition.
Oh my gosh. That's beautiful.
This is one of my most prized possessions. It just has it in oversized edition, and I loved it. George Perez is the creator, and he was doing my first time sitting to CGC ever. It was very confusing, but he signed this over here.
Nice.
Of Supergirl, and he signed it, which was really cool. I don't care about this number at all because George Perez's name on it. I didn't know that. So he retired from comics, from going to conventions and stuff. So that's why I send it, but I would love to get it in person. 3 other books I'm going to share with you. The other one is this book right here, also signed by George Perez.
Gosh.
Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. For those who don't know why this book is amazing, it's the first appearance of White Tiger. Who's White Tiger? He's the first Latino superhero in Marvel Comics.
Wow.
I'm a person who's big about representation, as you could tell from, I'm sure, the Milestone Media Comics conversation I had. But yeah, this right here meant a lot to me. I have another copy so I can read it. So, and then I told you Static is one of my favorites. Here's his first book in Raw, and that's signed by Dwayne McDuffie. Dwayne McDuffie passed away. Yeah, he passed away.
Oh, man.
This is hard to find. I'll probably never slab this up just because it's so beautiful. And then 2 more. One of my favorite artists in comics is Mobius. Mobius is a French artist, also passed away. I like all these people who passed away. So he did Milestone Media books. This is the last issue of Static, 45. So just look at that art. I think it's beautiful.
Wow.
And this is also one for Hardware. So I just think these are incredible. This is the second to last issue. This is the last issue. There's only like 4,000 of these in the world. And I have 2 of them. I'm obsessed. I have a problem. And then, all right, so last one. This is one. If you know who this is, I'll be very impressed. Justin, this question's for you, but also for people in the chat. If you know who this is, just like let me know. Drop a thumbs up. Do you know who Meteor Man is?
No, I do not.
When I was growing up, I saw this movie with a black superhero, and I was like, "What is this? Like, this isn't. He's not a DC or Marvel character." And the movie's incredible. And I was like, I completely forgot about this because it was like a childhood thing. He got hit by a meteor and then he had powers to like create green meteor balls. And it's like a very cheesy, corny movie, but I loved it. And like I saw it a million times. And I don't know anybody who's ever seen it. I think I'm like the only person. And I found the comic book in the store, and I was like,
that's awesome.
This whole thing. So
hell yeah,
those are my books I wanted to share.
Dude, I love it. I absolutely love it, man. The chat is going nuts right now. They love all the books that you're showing off here. I saw Gomez in the house. What's going on, Gomez? Good to see you, man. Dave here saying that they met George Perez at Dragon Con when we were there for the Lantern Corps cosplay. Really cool. He wanted to get the photo with us. That's so cool. I actually did get to see Perez. I didn't talk to him, but I was able to get on the line next to him 2 years ago, right before he was like, retiring from the cons or whatever. His line was, of course, very long. I was on line for Jim Starlin, who had a long line, which is funny because we saw him at the recent show and he had no line. But it was during the hype of the the MCU films and stuff like that. So, but it was cool to just be able to see Perez there in person, and seeing some of the fandom that the people that were there. Yes, a lot of big fans here, just of all the books that you're showing off, and cool to just kind of hear the stories, the signatures that you have. I think it's really really cool. And obviously very unique to some of the things that no one else can have when it comes to some of the signatures. Talking about the film. So yeah, Andy knows it. Andy's familiar with it. There you go. Eric knows about it too. We got a couple thumbs up in here. Yeah. I'm not familiar with it. So Gomez saying it's classic. Look at that. Yeah. All right. Chamorro also. This is one of his favorite movies of all time.
They know. Yeah. I saw it in the wild, and I was like, "This is $1 book? What?" And I swiped it up, and I literally found out nobody cares about this book, but like I loved it. It was amazing.
Oh, they covered it cool. On their PCP movie night. So very cool.
Nice. I gotta check it out.
Oh, my dad knows it too. There you go. I'm gonna check this out, man. Storyline was good. Had a Bill Pudding Pops Cosby. He says,
they had a Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy is a real life superhero. This is great. Murphy, yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool. Let's see. He said, I collected all the black characters in my PC. This is Eric. He says, big representation over here too. Yeah. 100%.
I love that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. My dad says George Perez is the nicest man in comics.
Oh,
that's cool. Cool to hear. Yeah. I've heard nothing but great things from people who have talked to him. Wesley Snipes was the bad guy. There you go.
He was. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I wanted to scroll. I thought there was one other, and I think I just want to show Moonlit. Michelle said she was there for the 1 year Royal sales, the live sale that you were just talking about. It was definitely a fun time. Huge books. Justin also recruited me into those streams. Nice. Yeah. I got a few people into those streams. They're good people. So very cool. So I want to get into some of these rapid fire questions. Just want to remind everybody here, make sure that you are following Albert if you're not already, and don't just follow him, but actually hit him up. Talk some comics with the man. Clearly, he's got some stories and some fun things to talk about. So very cool there. By the way, I need to clarify. You mentioned Mobius. He's the artist that did Parable with right? That was him. Okay, so that's what I thought. And I actually feel like Mobius was someone that my dad had mentioned to me that and I could be wrong, but Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, that he was a fan of looking at a lot of his work and stuff growing up. I think was an artist that he mentioned to me. But either way, that was I just read that Parable not too long ago, so really cool. But it's cool that you bring him up as well. Let's get into some of these rapid fire questions, because I did, like I said, I changed some things up. Some stuff's the same, but I am curious to see where you stand on all of this. And then of course we'll wrap things up, let the people know where where you're at. And then, and there it is. My dad did say that he did. Yeah. So very cool, Dad. I did go and check out some Mobius stuff. So just let you know there. But I remember him telling me that probably last year or a year and a half ago. So, all right, let's kick this off. So if you had to choose just one, Albert, one character to be claimed as your favorite character of all time, what would your one character be?
Spider-Man. It's everybody's, but he's the best. He's such a good character.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Can't go wrong there. Cannot go wrong there. Let's see. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
The Dr. Manhattan control matter. That's what I would do.
Ooh. Oh wow, that's heavy. Good pick. Yeah.
My second answer would be control time, and just like be able to go through
it. Yeah, dude. Oh man, that'd be interesting too. Those are very unique. Two unique answers, I must say, for what we've had here on the show. So very cool, very cool. I'm going to. This is a tough question, but I'm going to ask you based on people who are alive right now. I should say, who's your number one? If you had to pick one, your favorite comic book artist.
Oh, artist. Okay. Favorite artist. If I said Peach Momoko, Morbius might beat me up. So I'm not gonna no, I'm not gonna say Peach. I'm not that big on Peach. Favorite. Daniel Warren Johnson. Daniel Warren Johnson's art is like, I think it's probably the coolest one. I mean, Alex Ross, I think, is like the easier answer for me, because like he paints. I mean, it's like I have a crazy collection of his like hardcovers over here.
Nice.
But Daniel Warren Johnson, I think, is the most exciting artist for me.
Cool. No, I love it. Can't go wrong there. And since you brought up Peach, I just thought this was appropriate to play. So here you go.
They want to just join that crowd and be part of that and say, yeah, you Peach Momoko, yeah, Peach Momoko.
Oh, classic.
That's hilarious.
Classic Morb. And shout out to Michelle, because she's the one that initially pulled that. I took that from her. So thanks, Michelle, for getting that clip. Great stuff there. Let's see. So great. Yeah, I think that's a great choice. I don't think you can go wrong there. Rage and Sam first. Yeah, talking about the your choice in superpower. That's the first that we've heard something like that. Wong here mentioned John Byrne. Definitely with you on John Byrne.
John Byrne's still alive.
Really good stuff. Yeah, Byrne's still alive. Yeah,
that's a terrible question
he's
to put out there
yeah.
in the world. Okay, yeah. Then I mean, John Byrne's a legend. Yeah, he's incredible.
Totally. But you're. I mean, it's obviously it's so hard to choose. I mean, you know, I'm asking. That's why I say it's a hard question. It's a hard question. Yeah. Let's see. Morbius will come after you. Yeah, exactly. People laughing in the chat here. So let's see. Next question. I'm going to change. So some of this stuff, I'm just going to do a this or that. I'm just going to throw some your way. So you just let me know.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Boom Studios or Aftershock.
Boom Studios.
Okay. Silver Surfer or Green Lantern.
Oh,
Hey,
good
good
one. Silver's Green Lantern. Green Lantern.
I love how much you're going one way than the other.
Yeah. Look, I got these. I'm a big fan.
Yep. I remember you talking to me about them, but I was looking at your page again. I'm like, yeah, man, he does read a lot of Silver Surfer though too. I don't know, it's tough. What about Tom King or Tom Taylor?
Tom Taylor is better. Tom King is great. I think people hate on him for Batman, but he's great. Tom Taylor is a really enjoyable writer, though.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Got a couple other people here chiming in. Oh, we got, he heard his name. He heard his name and he's here in the chat right now. More if you just missed the classic Peach Momoko clip. Thanks for stopping in, brother. We had to play that. Let's see. John says Taylor all day, but King is still super talented. Yeah, it is.
Just really quick. I'm reading Strange Adventures, and Tom King is absolutely crushing it. It's probably my favorite book of the year.
Wow,
it's so incredible. But Tom Taylor is just like every issue is solid. Like it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of writing. Tom King's not always 10 out of 10, but story wide, it's really great.
Wow. I talk about that on my last top 10 new comic book day video. I'm looking forward to getting into Strange Adventures, because I read the first issue, loved it, and I just wanted to wait until it all came out. I know the last issue is coming out, so I'm going to read it all in one shot. Tomorrow, good point here. King for the minis. I agree with that too. Obviously they have their own strengths, and I think King definitely takes the cake with his miniseries for sure. We got some peach love here. Some laughter as well. Yeah, that's the Morb signal. Right there. It's like the bat signal, the Morb signal, and Morb just shows up. Really funny. Let's see. Next question here I want to ask is pizza or cake?
Oh, pizza.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. Come on. All right. I dig it. I don't know. Some people in their cake. I don't know. I'm just saying. Let's see. Pepsi or Coca-Cola?
Coke.
Yeah. These two I like to throw in here. Batman or Daredevil?
Batman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to get into Daredevil. I just haven't. I don't have a lot of history.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Harley Quinn or Punchline?
Oh my God. Come on. That's disrespect. That's a disrespectful question. Who is answering Punchline? If anybody's writing Punchline, that is crazy.
Hey, some people love her.
Harley Quinn is an icon. She's an icon. She's a transgenerational icon. Oh my God.
Sheena says, "I love cakes." There you go.
There you go.
you can love pizza and have cake too. Or we'll combine that saying.
John's comment is a great answer.
Oh, there you go. Poison Ivy is the correct answer. Yeah, we got some Harley love here for sure. Let's see. Frizen or Bartel?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Bartel did Wonder Girl, right? I think she's an incredible artist too. Yeah, I think so. She might be like another top one for me. Jenny Frison does the cover art, right? She's the one who does like the really glowy pictures.
Yeah. Yep.
I think they're great. The one that month she did the women's covers, I thought that was like unbelievable. I was gonna break the bank for that, but I think I really I was like, I don't know if I can handle this debt. But the one that I forget her name again, not Bartel, the other one,
Frizen.
Yeah.
Michelle says, as long as you don't compare pizza to ice cream, we're good. that might be tough. So said, yeah, don't answer that one. That's a tricky one. That is definitely a tricky one. I see a lot of Frizen here for sure. A lot of people saying Frizen right now. Let's see. So I'm pretty sure you read both of these, so I'll ask you these two. Carmen or Stray Dogs?
Ooh, I think Stray Dogs is a better story. I didn't finish it, but I could see where it was going.
Oh man, you gotta finish it. You gotta finish it.
I got the first 2 issues, and
they
were really good.
It's good.
I ordered the trade paperback because I was like,
good. Okay. Yeah.
There's a certain point where I'm like, I got to be financially like a little bit more responsible.
Totally. Yeah.
But I read Carmen, and I think it had a week finish. And
wow.
I can predict that Stray Dogs is gonna be better.
And
it was also like extremely unique. Like I didn't buy it initially. I didn't get the first print and I had the opportunity. It was like in my hand, and I was like, this looks a little childish, but I was wrong.
Interesting. Getting some mixed answers here for sure. I see a couple people here for Carmen, getting a couple people here for Stray Dogs. I think that those are definitely two that are kind of tough. I mean, I really enjoyed both of them. So you definitely need to finish reading when you get the trade. You're gonna have to let me know. But yeah, a lot of people showing love for both answers. So appreciate everybody hanging out right now. Make sure again, if you're not following Albert, that you do so. Put his information in the description below and smash that like button if you don't mind. Or if you hate what you're watching right now, hit the thumbs down, but do it twice so that you really show the emphasis of how much you hate what you're watching right now. Just tap it twice. So we would appreciate it. Let's see. What's the last comic book that you read?
I read this last night, May's book, and
okay, nice.
God, Jeff Lemire, yo, this guy, he's just like he knows how to make you sad.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that, Yeah.
No, he definitely, the characterization, like he makes you feel for the characters, and it's really, some of it's really deep. Let's see. Andy said, did someone say weak finish? I'm here. I don't know for Carmen. I loved Carmen. I really did. But
I liked it too. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful book.
Michael says he only read the first issue of Carmen, but read the entire Stray Dogs first trade. Stray Dogs is good, not great for me. Def interested in Carmen. So a lot of mix here. Hit that like button. Agreed. Nice, good call there, Morb. All right, let's keep this going here. Talk a little bit about I always like this question. If you could travel back in time and buy one comic book, literally off the shelf, like time travel, and just go buy one comic from the day that it came out, but it has to stay in your collection. You can never sell it. It's yours forever. You take it to the grave with you. What would that one comic book be?
My grail book is X-Men. You see, I keep going between 1 and Giant Size, which you have. So but it's either one of those two. X-Men, I think, is probably the greatest comic book ever made. Just like franchise, all that.
The series,
So Giant Size X-Men was probably the answer. That's the goal eventually, to get it. But X-Men 1 kicked it off. Stan Lee, it's like, I don't think Kirby did it, right? I don't think Kirby did Kirby do X-Men 1
for X-Men? Yeah. Yep.
He did X-Men 1? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, those are the things that I think that X-Men 1 is one of those books that, like, you're never going to get it. Like, it's the price is going so high. Not never, but, like, it's a 4.0 just sold for $15K. And that's what I was aiming for. Like, and I was like, that's $15K. That's my closing cost of my house. That's like, I need that money. That's usable, real money. So,
yeah. No, it is definitely get more and more challenging. Obviously, with the spikes in pricing right now, too, with just the industry in general. I'm happy to have gotten the ones that I got when I did, because it. And then, I mean, who knows when the movie, if and when the movies come out, like, it's only a matter of time, I feel like, before we see it. But I'm glad. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
The non-selling part of it is the key, because then you kind of get rid of all that extra junk.
It just shows like what is, what's in the heart for you. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm with you there in terms of X-Men. And let me ask you this too. And this was I had this on my list, but I wasn't sure if I was going to ask you. But now you talk about X-Men. Who do you prefer, the original X-Men team or the new quote unquote new X-Men team, meaning the Claremont 70, from 1975?
I think Claremont's is the real one. Just because, like, you think of Wolverine when you think of X-Men, you think of Nightcrawler, you think of Colossus, you think of Storm. So thinking and like even Jean Grey was in that team, Cyclops was in that team. I don't think about Beast. I'm not. So maybe there's some people who feel strong about this, but I'm not a big Beast fan. I'm not. Like, I don't. Iceman, I thought he was the coolest character ever, but just because his powers were cool. But like his character, it never felt like that. So the Claremont run is the real one. It's just like you got to respect the history of what got it to that point.
Love it. No, and I think obviously a lot of it too can depend on when you grew up, like when you got into the books. Like if you were reading from the first day X-Men came out, I could see people easily choosing the original team because that's what they grew up with initially. So I think that can also play a big role too. But I'm with you there. I'm 100% with you.
Was the story? I mean, this is like I'm always really interested in the history of the comics because like was it that popular? Like was it a comic that was outselling Spider-Man? I don't know if they came out around the same time, but like was it a comic book that was, how was it doing compared to Fantastic Four? How was it doing against DC books? Like because when Claremont came in, I knew that thing exploded. And like they eventually stopped making new issues. They never stopped making with Spider-Man or Batman. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, and that's actually something that John and I talked about during our kickoff show this past Tuesday on his channel. We kind of broke down some of the things with like popularity and stuff and where things went, and we brought or we just talked about our history in general of how we got into it. But like X-Men was it stopped for a while. They were doing reprints because it just wasn't selling. It wasn't doing as well, and then it wasn't until they brought Claremont in. Actually, I was just talking to Travis about this too when this morning. That's why it was fresh in my mind. But we were just talking about kind of some of the history of that. And I was talking with Travis and just telling him too, like they were doing reprints, and it wasn't until Claremont came in and just rebooted the whole thing and really smashed a home run. It was a grand slam, for what it is today. So yeah, I mean that definitely stands out. I mean, obviously, the creation of the idea of it was huge back in the 60s. But some of the stories were certainly not quite all there. I think at one point the X-Men versus like Frankenstein at one point, like there's just some like kind of far-fetched, not as epic. Yeah. Not as epic as what it is, but of course that's with the times too. The times definitely have just changed over the course. So, appreciate that, Gomez. Thank you, man. I saw here. Kyle was saying the rumor True Disney wants to change the X-Men name. Oh, interesting. I haven't heard that.
I think that they were thinking about doing a show, like a movie called The Mutants.
I remember hearing that. Yeah,
because X-Men. When you think X-Men, how are you going to tell an Xavier and Magneto story for the like 8th time and still keep it like related to the MCU? It's like I think it's going to be hard to put it in, but I think if they refocus on like making it like, when they brought the snap back, people came back with their genes a little off.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. My dad here said, don't forget the Cockrum years, and was with Len Wein. As the writer. They were part of this. They were part of this. That's right. Len Wein did do, well, he was part of the Giant Size X-Men. That's what the initial kickoff was before he kind of passed it on to Claremont. So it's a good point there. And I know Len Wein also like tied, he was involved throughout a lot of that stuff. And obviously Cockrum was before and after John Byrne during the 70s. And, kind of continued on with that as well. So, but good points there, Dad. So let me I want to ask you a couple questions. I know we're getting kind of past the hour mark here, and I appreciate everybody hanging. But I do want to ask you some non-comic book related questions before we roll out here. So let's kick this off and let's talk about sports here. We got to talk a little bit about sports. Okay. Are you a sports guy? And if you are, what are your favorite sports and who are your favorite teams?
Wow. So I definitely consider myself a sports guy, but I've had to ease up because it was consuming me. Like Sunday, I saw you had Reds, and so I'm an NFL fan. Red Zone is the most dangerous thing for any person who does fantasy football. I do fantasy football. I have 2 leagues. I run one myself, and God, I had red zone, and Sundays I literally didn't get up the whole day unless it was to eat or go to the bathroom.
Same, dude. That's literally my Sunday, every Sunday for the next 17 weeks.
The greatest and worst thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
Do you do fantasy football?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm in 5 leagues this year. I was in 7 2 years ago before the pandemic. Yeah. I'm all. When I was in 7, I made the finals in 3 of the 7, and I made the playoffs in 4 of the 7.
Oh, you're real.
So I was all in. Yeah. Like I love it, man. I even do the daily fantasy stuff, the DFS, DraftKings, and FanDuel, like the daily lineups that you can do. We'll have to meet up at some point for sure as you move over, to Jersey or whatever. Maybe catch some football together. My girlfriend has
Red Zone
tickets
coming over.
Oh, definitely. My girlfriend has tickets. She goes to she has season tickets for the Giants. She's a big Giants fan.
Oh, nice.
So she goes. She'll be going this Sunday, and any home game she's always there. I try to get a ticket at least once a year to go with. But like what you just described on your Sunday, to me that's like my description of a perfect Sunday is sitting on a couch, eating pizza, drinking beer or a scotch or whatever, and just literally watching and checking my lineup every 2 minutes, and just literally watching a red zone or whatever. So I love that. It's cool to hear. So who's your team, or who is the Giants your team? Or,
I'm a Jets fan, which is
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
It's a hard life. I picked when I was playing Madden, and I was like 8 years old, and I was like, oh, New York, like I'm not going to pick the Bills, they're garbage. And I was like, because I just knew the Bills would be garbage, which they're not anymore, which is crazy. So I picked between green and blue, and I picked green, and that was
all leaned on the color. Okay.
One day the Jets will be great. Okay.
you let me know. Let me know how that goes.
Right, this is a quick off topic thing, but you know what I hate in sports, like, and this is one of those things, like, I know it's not a nice thing to say, but like, I hate people who are fans of the winning team. It's my father. My father is like this. He's people who are fans of the winning team, and then they become fans of the Patriots, and now the Patriots suck. And I'm like, oh, where are you at? Like, what are you still rooting for the Patriots? You wearing the jerseys? Are you posting all the time? No, you're not. You're hiding, and now you're going to be a Buccaneers fan. You can't be a Buccaneers fan.
No. There certainly are those fair weather fans for sure. I do know some Patriots fans who are still, they still stand their ground as a Patriot fan, and I respect that. But you're right. There are certainly those that kind of jump around, and maybe for different reasons that we don't know. But I know some people like to follow the player more so than the team. Yeah. I'm like that for basketball. I'll admit, like I don't really have a basketball team. Sure, I try to root for the Knicks. It's very hard, but I do try to support the Knicks. I do try to support the Nets, but I love watching LeBron James. So any team goes on to, I root for that team because I just like watching the man. Like so much talent involved with a lot of them, not just LeBron, but I do have like certain players that I like to kind of follow. So I do get that aspect of it. But it is a pain to like hear of a fair weather fan just jumping on board to whatever team's like crushing it that year or whatever. Yeah. But hey, that's sports. So
fantasy makes it real easy to follow athletes more, right? Like I'm a big Hopkins fan. I think this guy's amazing.
Hell yeah. Him and Murray, baby, all day.
Yeah. Kyler Murray, my God, he's so good.
Yep.
I think that's if you appreciate the sport as a whole, then I respect it too. Baseball, totally. I love baseball, but that's a hard sport to be loyal to, just because the games, man, like they are so long. I live I don't live that far away from Yankee Stadium, and
nice.
So I'm a Yankee fan too.
Nice. I'm on board. I mean, I've been talking with my girlfriend Lindsay. She's been, we've been following along with the Yankees and how close they are to getting into the playoffs, or potentially, So it's close right now. I know every game matters here on these last couple of games. I can't believe in 2 weeks, basically, we're gonna be into the baseball playoffs already. It's kind of crazy. We just realized we're actually gonna be in Vegas during the start of the playoffs.
Oh, that's great.
So definitely gonna be placing some bets there, and this will be my first time. While I'm in Vegas, my first time in Vegas during the football season, and we're going to be there on a Sunday. And literally, we already booked our tickets for the Caesars Sportsbook, like the actual sportsbook room. You have to book seats beforehand. I didn't know it was that serious. And we're going to be there for 12 plus hours. Like it starts at 10 a.m. because it's West Coast time, and we're just going to watch football the entire day. And we, talking with everybody, high-fiving people. And it's just going to be a great time.
That sounds great, man.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. I love everybody putting kind of some of their teams here. Yeah, my dad's a Steelers fan. He says it's gonna be a long season for him. Yeah, I try to get my dad back on the Ravens bandwagon, but he's just not taking that leap.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle. Exactly. I saw Kyle put here the golf too. There's some good golf going on. Yeah, exactly. There she is. Heaven. It is definitely heaven to just be sitting, hanging out, watching that stuff. JT says Yankee talk. I'm out. Yeah, JT. Sorry, man. He's a Boston fan. Sorry, bro. But yeah, some really important times right now. Let's change it up here. I want to talk a little bit about music. Where do you stand with music? Like, what are your favorite genres? And do you have a favorite like artist or band that stands out to you?
Big music fan.
Nice.
I'm big on hip hop. Kanye had a new album. Drake had a new album. So I'm listening to that a lot. Kendrick Lamar is my number one. J. Cole's my number two. So hip hop is my jam. But I listen to everything. I mean, my wife has a very different taste of music. My daughter is a Disney fanatic. So I love musicals. Hamilton is like incredible for me. So.
Love Hamilton, man. That changed the game for me. Then during the pandemic, when they released it on Disney Plus, I'm like, I hear so many good things. Let's give it a shot. And I've been upset. I still listen to the album to this day.
Yeah,
still listen to it. I still quote it. I like sing it while I'm walking around the house because I just love like the Skylar sisters song. One of our dogs' name is Skylar. So I always sing the song whenever I'm calling her, and I say the Skylar sisters. Like, wow. She's cute. But love Hamilton. John knows. I was posting it. I have like a Hamilton shirt. I'm a big fan. But cool to hear the hip hop stuff. Love it. Absolutely love it. I saw Mercy here saying I'm not a sports fan. Too much trash talk. I'm glad it says. I'm so glad it stays with sports and doesn't spill over comics. Let's go Balls. No sports with them. Yeah. I just had Mark on here. I had Mark from Legion of Comics and I asked him if he's a sports guy, and he's like, sports. What is sports? What is the sports we talk about? And hey, like some people, it's just not for some people. I find it really interesting and vice versa. So I know some people who are big comic fans don't get sports. And I know some sports fans recently I was talking to, especially DFS and DraftKings and also their, fantasy stuff, who don't get like art and comics. Like they were talking about, it's really interesting to know that there's like, two sides. I'm all on board with both. So it definitely is.
It's weird. It's weird to see like, I played a lot of sports when I was younger. Like sports are a huge part of my life. So I think that the easiest, if anybody's here is interested in trying to get in, just follow a player and their story. And then it's like, so LeBron is an easy person to get into because he's got a literal documentary on him in high school. And it came out when he was in high school. So you could like see where he started literally. And this dude's never slipped since. So that's a good way to start, I think, if anybody's interested.
Good call there. Do you have name one movie that comes to mind as your favorite movie, your go-to movie?
Wow. For the first thing that came up was Inception. Christopher Nolan is incredible.
Hell yeah.
So I think, I didn't name a comic book movie, which I'm a little bit ashamed of doing.
No, that's okay. It's tough. It's tough. No, it's tough. Actually, that was going to be another question of mine separately because it is tough to do and name both. So I think Inception's a great choice. And I'll ask you this now: name one comic book related film that's your favorite film.
Okay. I mean, Infinity War, I think is the like absolute. I'm gonna put my head back on. My head's getting cold. Infinity War is probably the best. But I saw Shang-Chi, and I was really, really surprised. I was so impressed. Same. Yeah, like Marvel is really doing it well right now. And I'm curious. I know you're asking me a lot of questions. What do you think about Black Widow?
The newest film that came out?
Yeah, like what were your thoughts after when you were done with it? What were your thoughts? How did you feel about it?
I really enjoyed it. It's not a top 5 movie for me per se of the MCU stuff, but I don't regret not seeing, or I don't regret seeing it. Like I don't know if I would like sit through it again, other than maybe having it on in the background. I think it had some really special moments. I think it had some really good humor. I love the new characters, some of the new characters that they brought in. I love her sister, like that whole aspect. I hope we see more of her. And it's just I'm just such a big fan of MCU in general that anything that ties in remotely to other characters that I care about, I'm like, I want to know about it. So I won't poo-poo it. Like I'm definitely on board with, I'm just glad that they did it. I know it was a long time coming. They kept pushing it back. It's not, it's not a top 5 in any sort of way, but it's also not the bottom 5 either. I thought it was, I thought it was a good movie. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
Okay. Yeah. The only reason I ask is because it was obviously like highly anticipated, right? I mean, like they kept delaying it, and I felt like Shang-Chi had a similar kind of like hype, right? Like you were like, oh, like, yeah, I'm excited to see it, but I'm not like dying to see it. And Shang-Chi just like it just blew me away. And Black Widow didn't blow me away because I think it kind of followed the traditional pathway. Shang-Chi did too. I don't know what it is. But yeah.
No, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. And like, I think that a big part of it was the hype was so built up with Black Widow because of the fact it kept getting pushed back. I think it was but that plays a big part. For me, I didn't have high expectations for it. For whatever reason, I was just like kind of going into it like, okay, it's an MCU film, so I trust it. Like I trust what the team is doing and the director and everybody that's involved. I just trust that it's not going to be a horrible movie. And as long as it's not horrible, I'm okay. And I don't think it was horrible. I thought it was fine. So for me, fine in that way is a green check for me. Like I'm good. I'll keep going. We get that little filler of that information of Black Widow. Hopefully we continue to see more. Like I said, I think it introduced some really new and cool characters along the way that hopefully we see more of as well. Shang-Chi was another one though, where I didn't have high expectations. I didn't know I never read any Shang-Chi before. Actually, that's a lie. I read one book more recently that a friend asked me to read for a new comic, but like something more modern, but never really understood or knew much about the 10 rings or anything like that. So I was going into it blind, and I'm like, I'm here for fun. I just want fun and entertainment, and let's go. And it gave me all that. And more. So I loved it. That is up there for me. I would say the Shang-Chi movie. Yeah, that definitely is up there compared to Black Widow for sure. Yeah, Eric agreed. I'm on board. I'm always going to watch the MCU stuff regardless, no matter what the tie-in is. Wong says it's a little janky. Reminded me of Jason Bourne movies to an extent. I could see that. Yeah.
The roof hopping.
Yeah. Some of those scenes.
Scene.
Yeah. Yeah, Mercy said he hasn't seen it yet. It hasn't been released on Disney Plus, but he's not in a hurry. Yeah, I would say see it. I would recommend anyone that's a fan of MCU stuff, you should watch it at least once in your life.
It's definitely not like I would never say like avoid it.
Right.
It's not like that at all. It's great. It's a good movie. I think Scarlett Johansson is great. She's obviously great to look at too.
Love her.
But I think the cast around her was so good compared to her that it was like, I'm not even. I felt like I wasn't even watching a Black Widow movie.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, this is a really like her sister in it is like she is so good. Awesome. I could watch her I could see, and there, there's. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that she's a really exciting character. Of the whole movie, I was like, can't wait for that.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agreed. Very cool. One last question for you here, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. And again, thank you everybody for hanging out with us here today. Or if you're watching the replay, we really appreciate that. My last question for you, I always like to bring up food. I have to bring up food. I just, it's always a thing I like to kind of close out with. So for you, if you guys, it's a Friday night, you guys are going out to eat, or your plans for dinner, any choice that you want, whether you're ordering, you're going out somewhere, you're cooking yourself, you're, ordering in, whatever the case is, what is your go-to meal for a Friday night dinner?
Okay. All right. Right now we're trying to be healthy, which I hate being healthy. It's the worst. Gosh. It's the worst.
I'm so angry right now.
We have to so I don't like healthy food. So that's not my answer. It's not going to be like a salad, even like grilled chicken.
2 grains of rice.
I'm going to do grilled chicken. I'm going to do chicken. I want some like fat on it.
Yeah.
I love Mexican food so much. It is a problem in my life.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a Mexican food restaurant near us. We came back from DR from vacation, and first thing I was like, I gotta eat Mexican food. Like, we're back. I got food poisoning.
Oh no.
So, and I'm sure people here have gotten food poisoning. If you get food poisoning, it feels like you're dying. Like are just like literally feels like death. I don't want to get into more detail, but So now when I think about Mexican food, sadly, I get nauseous. I'm just like, I can't do it. So my answer is changing. I'm eating more Indian food now, which I really like.
Oh, cool.
I love short ribs. Oof, short ribs barbecue.
Hell yeah.
You know, right now, if I can eat anything without being healthy, like what I want to order tonight is Chinese food. That's what I really want.
All right, cool. I love it, man. I love it. I mean, you know, and it's tough because, you know, it's whatever you're in the mood for at that time. And sometimes your mood changes. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm into this for now. But I love it. Great answers all around. Sorry that you had to go through the experience you went through, and hopefully never again for anybody. It's terrible, but good stuff there. Whoa, we got Victoria in the house. What's going on? V saying good morning. She's across the other side of the world right now. So good to see you, V. Thanks for swinging by. Yeah, I think it's like 8 o'clock her time, 7 o'clock her time right now. So cool from New Zealand. Very cool. Thanks for stopping in, V. Good to see you. All right, so those are my questions, man. That's what I had for you today. I know we're going a little long, but I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm glad that we were able to do this. Obviously, this is not going to be the last time that you're on the channel. Definitely we'll have to get you on again. Maybe we can break down some books together or something to that nature. But I've already expressed, man, I appreciate you. I love what you're doing. Love how you're embracing this hobby, how you're embracing the community, and you're just being yourself. And I think everybody here sees that. People watching see that replay. You know, you are you. And I really do appreciate everything that you're doing. So before we kind of wrap up, just let the people know, where can they find you? Do you have anything coming up that you want to share before we wrap out here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Justin. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and talk to so many people. This is so cool. I talk to all these people on the chat or in my Instagram all the time, so it's cool to see them here too. You can find me if you want to see my videos. I make a lot of videos. I'm not on YouTube. You can check it out. I made like 3 videos, which were fun. But the biggest thing that I'm on right now is TikTok and Instagram. On TikTok, I'm trying to put up at least 1 video a day. It's hard, but it's fun. And on Instagram is usually where I'm talking to people the most. But Albert Loves Comics is the name. Yeah. Thank you so much, Justin. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I've been watching your show for a long time, so it's kind of cool to be on it. Yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate the support, and yeah, I'm glad that we were able to collaborate here. Like I said, we definitely got to do some more down the road for sure, because I feel like we do share the same passion in a lot of the things that we're doing here with the comics in the community. So yeah, so there you have it, folks. Make sure you are following Albert. I put his information in the description below. I'll go back and add your TikTok line after your TikTok link as well, but it is the same handle, right, as your handle.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So anybody looking for you over on TikTok, just look up Albert Loves Comics. And I know that you put some of that stuff out on Instagram, so it's always some fun stuff. And if you've never seen Albert's reels before, or his TikTok videos, you definitely need to go back and watch them, because there's some classics, and he gets his wife involved, and there's all these other funny things. So I know I talk with my girlfriend all the time about it. You know, we watch your stuff. We love what you do. So great stuff there. Some really kind words in the chat. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us here today. If you're watching the replay, thanks for taking that time. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. Make sure you reach out to Albert if you haven't already. And I'm actually, real quick, just to clarify, I will be taking a little 2-week break. So we'll not be doing Comic Collector Origins for the next 2 weeks because I will be traveling. I will be actually over in Las Vegas hanging out with Sheena and maybe some other people as well. Hopefully can meet up. So I will be off on those, but I will be active. I'll be over on Instagram. I'll be posting my experiences. So if you guys want to see Vegas and you want to see where I'm at in Vegas, definitely check that out on my Instagram stories. It's a lot of fun over there. I've been there a couple times, so we're looking forward to it. So we'll be there for an entire week. So Saturday to Saturday. So I won't be on the channel, but I will still be posting some regular stuff as well. So keep an eye out for that. I'll still do my top 10 videos. I might do top 10 new comic book day video list video from Vegas. Maybe I'll do that and upload it there. So that might be fun. But either way, so 2 weeks off, and then I'll be back and really excited for that. I think I have, let me confirm real quick, because I'm pretty sure let's see, the 16th. Yes, October 16th, I'll be back with Big Herm, aka Herminio. So really excited to hang out with Herminio as well. So keep an eye out. But again, everybody, thank you all so much. Albert, appreciate you, brother. And until next time, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy your football Sunday, and we will talk to you guys